Determine the domain and the range of this function. F of x is equal to the square root of 2x plus 5 minus 1. So for the domain of this particular function, again, this function involves this radical sign. And kailangan, no, so sa rules ng radical, kailangan yung ating radicand, no, ito yung tinatawag natin na radicand, itong naka-pink. The radicand must be greater than or equal to 0. So yun yung rule ng ating function, ng radical sign. Right? So let us have here 2x plus 5. So again, no, so kailangan ang 2x plus 5 natin, which is the radicand, must be greater than or equal to 0. Hindi pwedeng mag-negative yung buong ito. Right? Bawal yun siya na mag-negative ka. So kailangan greater than or equal to 0 ka. Then solving for x here, you get 2x. Now this 5 here will be positive 5 na itong positive 5 natin. We will transpose that one to the other side of the inequality. So that will just become greater than or equal to. Since positive ito, magiging negative siya doon sa kabila. Okay? Then after that, we will divide this by 2 both sides. Okay, so divide by 2, divide by 2. So, magiging, or pwede din nag-multiply tayo ng 1/2, no? Pwede din nag-multiply tayo ng 1/2 dito. And as is yung, yung inequality natin, this inequality here is retained because we are just multiplying both side by positive. Ang restriction lang dito, kapag mag-multiply ka both side ng negative, itong greater than or equal will be less than or equal. So, mag-reverse yung kanyang inequality. Right? Then, we have 2 times 1/2 times 2 here is 1. Okay, times x is greater than or equal to negative 5 times 1/2 is negative 5/2. So that means 1 times x is just x. So we can just delete this one. No? So x greater than or equal to negative 5/2. So we only allow values of x that are greater than or equal to negative 5/2. Okay, so this means that the domain of f, right? So the domain of f, so we'll denote that by d sub f. Domain of f is just the set of all x such that x is greater than or equal to negative 5/2. In interval notation, we can write this one as negative 5/2 to positive infinity. So in the real number line, okay, this is negative 5/2. So greater that are numbers that are to the right of that, right? So including negative 5/2. So this one here is included, right? So up to positive infinity. So these are the points that are allowed in the radicand. Now to compute for the range of f, so this is our function f of x is equal to the square root of 2x plus 5 minus 1. We note that this radical here is always greater than or equal to 0 because that is the definition of the principal square root. Then if we subtract that one by negative 1 to the both side of the inequality, so this will become now the square root of 2x plus 5 minus 1 is greater than or equal to negative 1. And observe that this particular expression is that is exactly our f of x. Okay, that is our f of x. So f of x is greater than negative 1. It means that the set of outputs are greater than or equal to 1. So if we draw a real number line, okay, yung mga y values natin, again, these are y values, no? So f of x are just y. So if we draw our y values, okay, so mga mga negative, so okay, mag-start siya sa negative 1. This is 0 here. Let us say this is negative 1 here. So the values of y are greater than or equal to negative 1. So it will start from negative 1 up to positive infinity. And so they are all, these are all the possible values of the range. All right. So it means here that the range of f, okay, so the range of f is contained in this interval, and that interval is from negative 1 to positive infinity. Okay, so our next step now is to equate the f of x to y, no? So equate natin si f of x to y. So equate, okay, f of x is equal to y, then we solve for x. Okay, so we will equate this one to y. Okay, so square root of 2x plus 5 minus 1. Okay, so the square root of, okay, all right, so change natin. Okay, so that is square root of 2x plus 5 minus 1 is equal to y. Okay, that is our f of x. Okay, this is our f of x. This is our f of x. Ito naman yung y. Then solve for x tayo, right? So ito, transpose natin sa kabila. You will get square root of 2x plus 5 is equal to y plus 1. Kasi nga, this one now here is, negative. No? So kung i-transpose mo sa kabila, magiging positive na siya. Okay, so that will become positive. Okay, next step natin, we will remove the radical sign by squaring both sides of the equation. Square natin. Okay, by squaring the square root of the radical, that will just remove this radical. So it just remove this radical. So you're just left here with, on the left side, you have 2x plus 5 na lang yung matira, no? Okay, so on the right side, you will have this one. Okay, so we will just write that that way. Copy lang natin. Then, transpose natin ito sa kabila na side ng equality. That will just become 2x is equal to y plus 1 squared. Okay, ito magiging negative 5 na siya. Okay, take note of that, no? Okay, and then we multiply both sides by by 2 or just divide by 2. So, multiply natin by 1 half, I mean, no? Multiply by 1 half or just divide by 2. It's just the same. Okay, so on the left side, ito 1 half times 2 is just 1 times x is x on the left side. This is equal now to. Then distribute natin si 1 half dito. Okay, this is one quantity, no? So kailangan i-distribute mo siya sa buong ito. Then 1 half naman times this expression or number. Okay, so that will just become y squared, y plus 1 squared, I mean, no? Divided by 2 minus 5 halves. Minus 5 halves for negative 5 times 1 half. And we observe here that, of course, ito na quantity kasi, no, this quantity here, this is always greater than or equal to 0. It cannot be negative because the numerator here is, the square of a number is always positive. Kung 0 man, so 0 itong buo, no? But the square of a number is always greater than or equal to 0, divided by 2, so it's always greater than or equal to 0. So minus 5 halves, so this quantity, the whole thing, right? So this x is always greater than negative 5 halves. So that x is greater than negative 5 halves for this particular value of x. Okay, so we have this value of x. So may nakita na tayo, no, na value ng x that will give you f of x. And observe that itong ano natin, itong x na greater than or equal to negative 5 halves na nakuha natin is also in our domain, in the domain of the function. Ibig sabihin that this value, particular value of x that we have is a valid values. All right, valid values of x because it is in the domain of the function. Therefore, the range of f is equal to the interval -1 to +infinity.